Everybody, this is Lisa Baudouin. Welcome to Lisa's chat room. Today is July 12th, 2023. It's in the afternoon. I was going to go outside and do some work outside in the backyard, and it began to rain. So I decided to make these wonderful muffins that I make. I'm going to share the recipe with you today. Before I begin, I have to say I'm not an expert in anything. I share with you, if you try, use, or buy, you do so at your own risk and peril. So before I tell you the recipe, yes, I have little lessons that I share, little tidbits. One thing that's very, very important, I think, is understanding the physical body. So as we go through the Therapies for a Better Me, I'll start to go through some of the recipes, some of the things that I'm doing, some of the changes that I'm made, and some changes that I'm making, because we're always trying to progress to be better for ourselves and for other people. It emulates into other people if we're better for ourselves. Trust me. And really, it gets very, very deep in certain spots. It should be, because you are a human being that deserves that seriousness. So hopefully you've gotten to the point where you're studying the systems of the body here. And the one system that I really encourage you to study, probably, right in the beginning, is the digestive system. And the reason is because we can't control a lot of the things that go on in us, or at least we believe we can't. But actually, the digestive system controls a lot of those systems that are going on. It's all dependent upon the nutritional values we're getting in, diet that we have that creates the platform of those systems, which our mentality is sort of the ticker tape, partially. It's a partial part of that, and it's a partial part of the neuroanatomical structures of the brain, right? How optimally are they being used? Which there's a lot of stuff that you should be eating in on a daily basis to help sustain that optimization, no matter where you are. So, we've already gone through some of the things of where am I now? You create a baseline, and then you start to move forward, and you start to bring health into your world. And as you do, what's going to happen is you're going to widen your broadband. Yes, it's not about raising your frequency. It's about widening your broadband. Now, I'll talk more about that when I get to relation videos, talking about the relational storms, right? I touched base on it in 103, but I'm actually going to get into it, especially intimate relationships. We're going to get into that. But right now, you have to make a fundamental platform for yourself in the spirit point in your solar plex. So if you kind of think of it this way, everything you do, every change you make, even if it's slight, is going to help you connect to certain frequencies within you, within yourself. So you connect to your sense of self, but you also connect to that higher power. That's what I'm doing in these videos. I'm going to share some recipes with you. Now, I'm going to show you this recipe, and these are really, really healthy muffins. They're just muffins. I make a base, and then every week I might spice it up a little bit or change out something, put something else in it to make it a little different tasting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you my really ragged recipe here. So here I've got the dry ingredients. So what I do is I mix the dry ingredients together first. Then I'll take my optional stuff and put that in. And then once I've got all the wet ingredients done, I put it in. But I'll do the dry and the wet first. I'll get the wet ready before I put these in. So let's just look at these. And this is kind of chicken scratch, but that's okay. I use 4 cups of something. 4 cups of flour or dried oats. I usually use a flour base of at least 1 cup of flour. I will use, say, like for today, I'm using 2 cups of organic flour and 2 cups of organic coconut flour. So that's what I'm using today because I'm out of oatmeal. Sometimes I'll change it up to almond flour, or I'll do oatmeal, or I'll do teff flour. And flour is actually very much fiber. There's not a lot of content in it. It goes right through you. It helps clean out your pipes, okay, your intestinal tract and your colon. So I'll use teff flour, I'll use oatmeal, I'll use coconut or almond. There's all different kinds of flours that you can find out there. I usually use a base of an organic flour, like at least 1 cup of organic flour, regular just white flour, okay? And a lot of people would say, well, that's not good. And also too, all that coconut flour and whatnot, that's high in calorie. Yes, this is not like a low calorie thing, but only eating 1 muffin, it's not that bad, okay? It's not like eating a big piece of chocolate cake, right? So Here's your dry ingredients. I do the 4 cups of that, and then I fill in 1/4 flax and 1/4 chia seeds. I keep these in my freezer. Then I do 3 tablespoons of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon each of salt and baking soda. Then I use 1/8 of a cup. Sometimes I'll put in a 1/4 cup. And you're saying, well, what do you use, 1/8 or 1/4? This time I used 1/8. Depends, because sometimes I don't want to run out of my protein powder. If it's low, I just use 1/8. So kind of depends, and you can kind of adjust the liquid on that, what you add, okay? Then for the wet ingredients, I make up to 4 cups. So I want to show you. This is my 4-cup measuring cup, okay? So I will put it up to here, and these are mainly, basically, the things I use. I use a cup of applesauce. Usually it's organic. I get mine at Aldi's. It's like $2.70 a jar. Now I'll go there and there will be none, right? Yeah, I know, but that's okay. I use 1 cup of the applesauce, usually, if I have it. Sometimes if it's at the end of the thing, the end of the container, take your applesauce, dump it out, and then take your water, okay, like a cup of water, and put it in the applesauce container, shake it up, and get all the rest of that applesauce out. I do not use sugar. You can use sugar as a substitute. Totally up to you, but to me, the whole objective is to try to reduce the sugar amounts, because what happens with sugar in your body, I will explain in another video, and I don't like that. Here, I'll use an egg. Sometimes I won't. If I don't have it, I don't use it. Some type of cup of milk, and for me, it's almond or soy. I don't usually use cow milk anymore. You can do your research. And again, I'm sharing this stuff with you, but it's your job to go out and research this stuff. See what it does to your body. See if it's something you will choose to put in your body. Again, nutrients, food, the digestive tract, this is what we control. We can control that. We can also control our environment to a point. Where we live, how we breathe in, right? What we're breathing in. If you live in a city next to a garbage dump or next to a factory, you might be breathing in a lot of pollutants. So that, and then the other thing is what we put on our skin. And that is my playlist about how I reduce formaldehyde and chemicals. Falls right into that. You have to be aware. I meet these people who they're vegetarians or they're vegans, and then I ask them what laundry soap they use, and they're using products that are like, I'm sorry, but they're full of chemicals. And it's like, do they realize, like even when you use a fabric softener, what's happening? That stuff is going in your fabric and then it's sitting on your skin. It may smell like lilacs. It may smell really good, but you know what? It's not lilacs. It's chemistry. It's some type of chemical product that's made to smell like lilacs. If you're using oil, like with my laundry soap, you can, I use the baking soda and the distilled vinegar. I could add a drop of some type of oil, just 1 drop. I wouldn't even put any more than that, because you don't want it overpowering, and that oil is very powerful. So 1 drop of your favorite oil, could be almond, vanilla, whatever, but that wouldn't be bad because it's dispersed pretty good throughout your clothes. But understanding where to take control, what can I do about it? Wiggling that thumb, right? All right, back to the recipe here. I use an egg usually. It's always a cage-free. I use organic milk, and then I use the cup of hot water. Sometimes I'll use the hot water to rinse out my applesauce jar. Okay, I'll do that. And then I use a 1/2 teaspoon of extract of my choice, and I'll show you that in a second here. I go up to 4 cups, so it goes up to here. No matter what I'm putting in there, it goes up to here. So sometimes I don't have an egg. It's perfectly fine. Last time I didn't have eggs. It tasted good. I still liked it because I have the chia in there and I have the flax, and it gives this nice crunchy flavor. All right. So before I put the liquid in there, I do stir it up really good, and I set it aside for a second. Then I figure out what I want to add. Always add, if you're going to add cranberries or blueberries, always add frozen. Never add fresh, because your dough will turn the color. Okay. And it might, anyway, that's why you kind of have it quickly done. You put the cranberries in, stir them up, and they get like the rest of the flour and stuff kind of coats them. So then when you put the mixture in, it kind of protects it from not getting so dyed, red or purplish blue. You can also use raisins. With the raisins, you could add cinnamon. Cranberries, you could do the almond extract. Okay. Blueberries would be the vanilla. You can change it up the way you want. Go out there and research some things, or just be experimental. Okay. Here I have my spice drawer. Here's my spices. right? I don't have a lot. And actually, I'm going to grow my own spices. I've got some growing downstairs. I've got cilantro, basil, a couple other ones. I've got fennel outside, different things. But sometimes you just can't afford to grow something. So it's better just to buy it. So I have all kinds of stuff here. Some of the stuff is from older. I will replace it as I go with organic, okay? I am not perfect. I am changing up my diet and becoming more mindful of these things. So as I go, I get all organic. And the reason is because the information that I've researched leads me to believe organic is the best route for my body. I'm going to leave it at that. I'll make a video on the findings that I've got with that. It's totally up to you what you do, but I've researched it out. What's the difference between organic and chemically engineered vegetables and fruits and whatever, produce? So that, and even animal meat, with antibiotics and stuff. I've researched that. So I choose to try to eat as clean as possible. So, but here with the muffins, I could actually make, use this oregano and the basil and make it more into a dinner muffin. Okay, more into something that, or I could just use pumpkin spice and put some raisins in there. Practice what you want. And then your oven is set to 350. And what I usually do is, because every oven is different, mine actually runs about 20 to 25 minutes usually, but I set it 20 minutes on each side, 70 to 20 minutes on each side. I've done my research, and really I think the thing we need to do is when we eat something, like when you eat this, don't look at it and say, yum. Don't look at your chocolate cake and go, oh my gosh, that looks so good. Think about how you feel after you eat it. I've been eating, I eat good for the most part, but sometimes I eat, like the other day I had a hot dog and french fries. Okay, sometimes I'm human. I falter, I'm not perfect. And it looks so good going in, but then my stomach starts to hurt later on. So I think really it's important for you to, instead of wondering how it's going to taste, after you eat it, ask yourself, how do you feel after you've eaten this food? That's really important. And keep a binder. Keep under your nutrition tab. Then you're going to put diet. Okay, behind nutrition, put diet. And this would actually be in your digestive system, right? You could have it there, or you could have it in your therapies, whatever you want to do. Personally, that's where I would put it, digestion. And that's where you would track your weight. You would track your toxicity levels, which I'm going to talk about in another video. And I will show you how to remove those toxins in several different ways, and it works, okay? And it's free. I will show you in different videos. But I would keep that behind your digestive system and keep all that information along with all your blood work. Personally, what I would like to see, and I'll say this in my nutrition database video too, is we do chem panels. We do chemistry panels for white blood cells. We do red cells. We do a mixture of things. We'll do a chem panel that has your lipids in it, your cholesterol, your blood work. It's basically called the chemistry panel. Personally, I think what we need to do is we need to create a nutritional panel. And I have an idea. I always have ideas, but I have a really great idea. And when you see my database and I show you, it's not that difficult to track. It really isn't. I will show you how to track it in a spreadsheet, because I'm a database programmer. It's a little easier for me. But I'm going to show you how to track the nutritional values, how to research them, how to figure out how much you need, how to kind of, you can't go above, you can't go below. You want the right amount in your body. And there's certain things that your body will do if you're having too much or not enough, right? So these are very important. But fiber is really important. There's different types of fiber. And what I'll do is, this is just the recipe. I will do a video on fiber itself. After I get that nutritional video done, I'm going to start to hone in on different nutritional categories, such as carbohydrates and fats, which I call oils. My fat cells, I don't call fat cells. I call them storage cells. Makes much more sense to me. So, but this is the start. This is like a base. This is fiber, part of the base. Your probiotics are needed as well, and certain things within your body. If you eat real good fiber, okay, and you've got to figure out how much you need, by the way. You need to go out and research that. Just write it down in your binder for now, and just know, try to get that much. But if you start eating fiber, you're going to feel better. I feel 10 times better. maybe even 100 times better now that I'm getting my fiber, my daily amount of fiber. And I still haven't hit that daily mark, really. This kind of hits it because I've got a 1/4 cup of chia and the flax, and I keep it in my freezer, okay? It goes in the freezer. You store those things in your freezer, the chia and the flax, right? You could store your flour in there too. All right, so that's it for this video. Please, comments are below. Go ahead and comment, share your story. Maybe you got something else we can put in these muffins. That would be a great idea. And then please like, subscribe, and share with your friends and family. All right, and please stay safe and stay healthy. And I'll see you again next time in Lisa's chat room.